If you like this episode, please subscribe, share with others, rate and review so we can continue to bring you great programming.
This is The Thing About Cars, a podcast for car enthusiasts and the people who love them.
Hello and welcome to this episode of The Thing About Cars. I'm Mickey Desai. Around the table, we've got Tim. How are you, Tim?
Doing great, Mickey. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. Ben should be joining shortly, so we'll say hi to him when he gets on after an appropriate, awkward moment of silence. And our guest for today is Hope. Hope, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm looking forward to our conversation. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about today. So first, Ben's not here yet. What are we going to do, Tim?
Well, we should do trivia.
We should do trivia.
Yes.
Okay.
Then Ben will just have to catch up with his superior mind powers.
Yeah. Let's do it. What's the trivia question?
Okay. Porsche and its partners are successfully manufacturing an e-fuel in Chile. What is it? Is it A, a lithium paste that is electrically charged prior to injection into a vehicle's empty battery electrode module, and then spent lithium paste is extracted and recycled? Or is it B, electricity from solar panels is used to help with the distillation and purification of ethanol? Or C, potassium nitrate crystals are ground into an ultrafine powder which explodes to generate power when compressed in a diesel-like engine? Or C, wind energy is used to separate hydrogen from water. The hydrogen is combined with carbon dioxide pulled from the air to create synthetic gasoline.
That's crazy.
They all sound crazy, don't they?
They all sound crazy. So, okay, a paste, which gets sucked into and sucked out of an engine and recharged.
Or into a battery pack, basically.
Into a battery pack. What was the second one? Solar powered something?
Electricity from solar panels used to help with the distillation and purification of ethanol.
Okay.
C, potassium nitrate crystals being burned in a diesel-like engine. Or D, wind energy used to separate hydrogen from water, and then you combine the hydrogen with carbon dioxide pulled from the air to create synthetic gasoline.
That's a great question. I mean, okay, so
one of these is the current, the rest of them are the future.
We'll answer that question at the end of the show.
Right.
And so let's turn our attention to Hope. Hope was brought to the table by a friend and has an interesting car sitting in her driveway. Hope, first of all, tell us about the car. What is it, and how did you come by it? And let's just have a long talk about it.
All right. Well, the car is a 1958 Desoto Firesweep. It's black with seafoam green roof and sides on the wing tips.
Yeah, interesting.
I purchased a car in 2009.
You purchased it in 2009. I'm looking at pictures online, and I've seeing pictures of a black one with seafoam green. What did you call it, Hope? There was a name for it?
I call it seafoam green.
Yeah, but it's along the side and up into the fin.
Right, and the rest of the car is black.
It looks really cool. So I've got to ask, how much did you pay for it in 2009?
So I paid $8,000 for it. It had roughly 90,000 original miles. It had 3 owners beforehand. A guy had brought it down from, I believe he said Vermont. But to be a car that was, up in the north, it was in really good condition, had very little rust. He took really good care of it.
It's a beautiful car. Given that I haven't actually seen yours yet, the styling of the car looks really, really cool. What do you know about DeSoto as a company? Have you done any research into the car or the company?
Not a whole lot, to be honest with you. Yeah, not a whole. I know it's affiliated with Dodge, or Chrysler.
Right.
So
that's right. Real quick, it was a marque that was manufactured by the DeSoto division of the Chrysler Corporation from 1928 to 1961. And during that time, they made 2 million passenger cars and trucks that bore the DeSoto brand in North America during that time. It was only started in 1928 with $20,000. That's a little over $500,000 in 2023 dollars. That's nuts to me because you can't do a startup for cars with $500,000.
Right.
The
Well, that's back when cars had like, 1/4 of the parts that they have now. So,
1/4 of the parts, no safety regulations, no government
Mhm.
to oversee all that. Yeah, exactly.
right.
Not that I'm trying to make a political statement or anything, but manufacturing of cars has changed in that much time.
Yeah.
Um, it was founded, the DeSoto mark was founded by Walter Chrysler on August 4 in 1928 to compete with Pontiac, Studebaker, Hudson, and Willys in the mid-price class. The mark was named after Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto, who led the first European expedition deep into the territory of the modern-day United States. Just an amazing history, and it's just weird to see the brand names come and go. But Hope, do you have a favorite thing about this car?
Um, I had a lot of favorite things about this car, but trying to think of something specific. Just
Or all of them, really? I mean, what's the cool? I mean, sure, it looks great, right? But is there a cool story? Are there cool features? Is it just fun to drive? What would you say?
Well, I think the way that I ended up with it was really cool. So in 2009, unfortunately, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So, I was dealing with that, and but I've been very blessed. I'm doing really well and everything. I've been able to manage it. But anyhow, my best friends, they're a married couple I was friends with. They're car enthusiasts, and they had probably 6 or 7 classic cars, and they kept saying, "Hope you got to get a car. You got to get a car." I was upset with everything going on, and I was like, "Well, I can't get a car right now." Well, they come over one day, and they say, "We're going car shopping." I'm like, "Okay," I'm thinking we're going for Sammy or something, and so they bought me the car. We found the car. They purchased it for me.
What?
$8,000. It took me 4 years to pay it off.
Wow.
Well, that's quicker than most people pay off a car.
It's very true.
So the car is very sentimental. It's very special. They were trying to cheer me up, and I'm like, $8,000 to cheer me up? Sure. But I paid every penny back.
Yeah. I mean, how many of our listeners, including and myself, have someone who would give you an $8,000 gift?
No, that would never happen. But I'm thinking on the other way, can I buy $8,000 worth of antidepressants in 4 years?
Or put me $8,000 into debt. Yeah, that's
Right.
one is going to lead to the other. Yes.
That's so cool. So, Hope, did you get to pick the car? Did they surprise you with it? What happened?
I got to pick it. So we found it on Craigslist, and we'd been looking at some other ones. Sammy, he's like, "Come on, let's go." We ride up there, we take a look at it, and it was stunning, absolutely beautiful. Of course, I loved it, but my first thought was, it's kind of big for me. It's a 4-door. It's a large car, and I was kind of thinking, of getting like a little 2-door Fairlane or a Comet or something like that, and then I end up with a DeSoto. I felt like a little ant driving it around. It's like, don't mind me, here I come in my me in my big car.
Right.
I love it. That's fantastic. How's it drive? Is it smooth? Because look at it, and part of me wants to believe it's just like floating.
It's like a couch on wheels. The furthest I've taken it on a road trip was Florida. We went down to Gainesville for billet proof.
Mm-hmm.
This was many years ago, but I guess we had a caravan of about 8 or 10 cars going down there together. Well, my car was one of the only ones that didn't break down.
Wow. There you go.
That's fantastic. That's too cool. So you said you had other favorite things about the car. Is the couch on wheels aspect part of that?
I would say so. It's pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
And I've slept in it too. So
What?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, I would love to figure out how to sleep in the backseat of any car. I don't fit into any of them anymore. My legs hang out the window every time I try, so it's just comical.
Yeah, mine too. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, you got a minivan though, Tim.
Yeah, but I mean, if I take the seats out, I could lie down in the back. It does have an 8-foot long flat floor.
Right. That's the only reason to get a minivan these days.
Basically, yes. Or the fact that you bought it when it because your company, when you worked for them back in 2004, would sell the cars when they came off a lease for whatever the remainder of the payoff was.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I bought it for like $4,000. And unfortunately, after we completed the transaction, I talked to our accounting chief and mentioned, like, if we were to just sell these, on the open market, you would probably fetch like $10,000 for them.
Last thing to tell to
Right. And I got the evil eye from a few of my coworkers because that was the last one they sold to the employees. But
dang. I'm like, yeah, please tell me when they do one again, because I
right,
need
yeah.
that. But,
But Hope, how long have you had the car?
Since 2009.
Okay, so my first question is thinking of a car that has where the manufacturer's been gone for 60 years now. What's it like getting repair parts and things like that?
I mean, to be honest, well, in the beginning, I didn't have to put hardly any work into the car. So I didn't have to look for parts for a while, but it's not been easy. Several years ago, my ex-husband was going to change I guess the brake shoes on
Hmm.
it, and that was really difficult to find. And
Okay.
I can't remember exactly what we ended up getting, but
Yeah.
I mean, as far as collector cars go, I guess it surprises me that there's not an open market for replacement parts for this kind of thing, and yet it shouldn't surprise me at all because this is very rare. It's a very rare car. It's probably a very rare fitting, and I'm just wondering if they're like, there's a word I'm looking for. Superseding, is that the right word, Tim? New parts
Uh,
supersede old parts.
Oh, right, yes. But a lot of times when it's the same basic design, yeah, yeah, it's the part's might not be exactly the same as the one that
Right.
came off, but it performs the same
right,
function and you're fine. But with something like brake shoes, where, if you have disc brakes on a car, uh, you know, there's a lot of specialty brake manufacturers where if as long as you have the old backing pad, you send that off to them and they custom cut a piece of the friction material and rivet it in place, and it's 100% functional. With a brake shoe, which is a curved piece, it has to be molded to that exact shape. So that I can't imagine, that's not my specialty, so I can't imagine what kind of other hoops they have to jump through in order to make that work.
Right.
Yeah, but,
Right.
but I would think
Exactly.
of it if they have, the same general radius of material, they could custom cut it and put it in place. But that's,
Yep.
yeah, above my pay grade.
Yep. Hope, how often do you take it out? It's not a daily driver, I guess, right?
it's not. And unfortunately, I haven't taken it out in quite some time. Almost, it's been over a year. I've had it running, but not driven it in quite some time.
Yeah, you need to drive
Nah.
it because the cars hate to sit unmoving. It actually leads to the degradation of like a lot of the rubber seals and
Well,
other
she's
parts.
she's she's
Yeah.
turning it over. I mean,
Right. But I mean,
yeah.
actually driving it, because, all the seals, in the drivetrain, they like to get out and get the lubricant inside of them sloshed around, and it helps keep it from binding up and then tearing and
Hope, you need to know that Tim is really into lube.
I could tell.
Yes, well, my dad did work for one of the major U.S. petroleum companies for most of his life. So, that's
Well,
So I have, yeah. Go ahead,
oh,
Hope.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry. I was gonna say one of my concerns about driving the cars because the floorboards are rusting out in the front.
oh,
So there were some safety concerns as to why I haven't driven it
I
too
see.
much.
Okay, I don't
Little
want you to have to
yeah,
go out there and Fred Flintstone it around the.
not quite that bad, but yeah, it needs to be fixed.
Gotcha. Yeah, I the first race car that I ever owned was a 1972 Datsun 510, and a friend of mine and I were bought it together in our college years. And the previous owner had fixed some floor rust by cutting out the bad part, welding in a new sheet of uh, steel, and he did when he welded it in, he just tack welded it. So where you just do a little weld spot every, 2, 3 inches, and structurally that's fine. And that was all great, and we raced it like that for about a year, and then one weekend we did a race in the rain at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the road course version, uh, and the part of the track where it transitions down from the oval into the infield section, there's a big puddle of water that sits there at the crease, if you will. And I splashed through that, and I've got the windshield wipers going, and then I can't figure out why I've got these four major spots of water on the windshield that won't go away. And as I keep on driving, I realize, oh, those are on the inside of the windshield. And then thought, how did it get there? And in a 1972 Datsun 510, it had all of like 100 horsepower. So I had a lot of time on the straightaways to think of what might be going on, and finally realized that the water had splashed up between my legs from the seams that had not been sealed in the floor pan. So we sealed that later, but it was an interesting moment. So.
Which brings me to the thing that I was going to say to Hope. I mean, unless you're really intent on keeping the car as close to original as possible, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but can't we cut out a floor pan and put in a new one? I mean, even if it's not DeSoto spec, don't they make like generic replacements for this sort of thing?
Well, I mean, basically, it's a sheet of steel, but there are often contours and corrugations to it that give it structural stability, which is why, for like the longest time, hoods in the U.S. Were, if you had a big hood, it was often had a lot of curve to it. And you didn't have to have any kind of reinforcement under it to keep it from flexing as you drove down the road, because the curves add strength. And when you got to like more modern cars with modern aerodynamics, it's more of a big flat sheet of steel. And if you didn't, they had to put a framework underneath it to keep it from wobbling up and down as you drove down the road. And the same thing with the floor pan for a lot of vehicles. And I don't know. I would assume that the DeSoto is sort of what they call a body on frame style, where you have, two large I-beams basically that make the frame of the car, and the body, including the floor pan, sits on top of that. You still have to have a little bit of curvature to it so that when you get in and out of the car, you don't have the floor flex underneath your feet and, go wop, 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 wop as you,
right.
It's a little disconcerting when, parts of the car move underneath your feet.
Sure.
Sure.
Whether there's rust on there or not.
Well, Hope, have you looked into this at all? I mean, I don't know how much poking you've done around to repair that sort of thing. I don't want to insult your intelligence.
Not a lot. I talked to a couple people. I have a lot of friends that are, car people, that are, have more knowledge of what it would take to repair that. And just by talking to a couple different people, they said it could be several $1,000 repair, up to like 5 or so. I haven't done a whole lot of research, but I'd like to.
Right.
Well, here's my suggestion. Can we, meaning our podcast, come take a look at it with you and maybe help with the research and see if we could develop more options for you? That's just the thing that's coming to me now. It's like, I don't know if we can improve upon that, but if we can find better ways to get the thing addressed, maybe that would be kind of fun to do together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, none of us are really experts in this area. So
No,
it's always good to have two more heads being scratched. Well, we come up with you might, could, would,
I'll definitely
but
be
someone who really
scratching
knows what
mine.
they're doing might tell you different.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, two more heads for sure, but it's also, you never know who we may know. Something may come to us. And because like I know a body shop guy in Tucker who may know a thing or two. It never hurts to ask, right? And maybe there's a better way to go about getting it. What else is up with the car, Hope? Anything else besides the floorboards?
So, I'm just trying to think things right off my head. The liner, the inner liner, needs to be replaced. There's parts on the floorboards that are deteriorating, like some interior deterioration.
Upholstery, you mean, like
Yes.
lining and carpeting and stuff like that.
Right. It's been outside for quite some time, so it's got some more rust than it did. I still don't think it's horrible, but there's some more rust spots that you'd want to, address. The engine, I don't have the details on the what would need to be updated on the engine. My friend that had helped me get it running a few months back said that there was something going on with the brake lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but brake lines, just like any kind of metal, they're subject to rust, and
Yeah.
and the those are the lines that those are the long lines. The short rubber lines that go to the individual wheels, the rubber on that deteriorates over time too, and that's.
But yeah, unfortunately, since it's been sitting out for quite some time, it needs a full body evaluation, inside and out.
Well, I think it would be fun to at least attempt that. So do you know if the brake lines are like braided lines or are they plumbed? Tim, is that a stupid question? You guys may
I'm
know.
not sure. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, typically coming off the brake cylinder, the master cylinder, you have the hard lines that go out towards each wheel. So that's generally just tubular steel, and then the lines that go to each individual wheel are made of rubber with a fabric reinforcement on the inside. Because I think the most brake pressure you can get is around 1,000 psi. But that I don't know. That's one of those great things of they may or may not be commercially available still. But if not, there's like specialty shops and parts suppliers like Summit Racing Equipment generally can, if can sell a mechanic a kit they would use to custom build new lines would be even better than new.
Right. So Ben has jumped in.
Hey Ben.
How you doing,
Hey.
Ben?
So you got about 5 minutes left?
No, yeah, and that's been the thing about cars. We'll see you next
right.
week.
That's Hi Ben. Bye Ben.
Sorry about that, y'all.
That's all right. That's all right. Ben, meet Hope. Hope's
Hey
our new
there.
friend.
Hi, Ben. Nice
What
to
are we
meet
talking
you.
about?
Well, you're not going to believe this. We're going to buy Hope another car.
Uh-huh.
She does this. It's her superpower. She gets people to buy her cars, and it makes her happy.
Yes.
That would make me happy. I might get a smaller one next time.
Oh, okay. Maybe a Nash Metropolitan. That's it.
Teeny tiny car. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
no. Yeah. And Misty and Dawn are going to be sad they missed this because there's a really cool car at hand here. It's a 19. What was it? A 52?
58.
58 DeSoto Fire something.
Oh.
See,
Those have the best fins. Oh, they're gorgeous. I love them.
Firesweep.
That's
Yes.
what sold me was the fins. I was like, I don't care that it's as big as a house. I'll take it.
The last one I laid eyes on in person was the gorgeous one they've got on display at the Henry Ford Museum, and I just drooled as I stood there. It was
So it was the fins that sold you. Hope, do you have this thing for the aesthetic for the 50s, the atomic age of cars? Is that an aesthetic you appreciate a whole lot, or was it just
do.
this car? Oh, okay.
I do. Fashion. I did some of the pinup modeling for a while. I love the music, the cars, the slang, everything. I just love it.
Ben used to be a pinup model.
What do you mean used to?
Nice.
depends on the pinup,
I've got him painted on the front end of my Honda Accord.
There you go.
Not life size, otherwise it would be longer than the
It'd
Honda.
be longer than the car.
Right.
So 1958 DeSoto Firesweep, black with seafoam green accents for the fins. And we were just talking with Hope about does she drive it, and so it had some problems. And Hope, correct me here if I'm wrong. I'm going to try to list the problems that we looked at. So the engine does turn over. She does start it every once in a while, but it hasn't actually rolled, and it has some rusting floorboards. There might be an issue with the brake lines. And that's as far as I've got.
Yeah.
What am I forgetting?
The list is probably longer, but yeah, it's a mystery.
So my suggestion and my hope is maybe the four of us get together And I don't know if Dave is in on this or not. So Hope, we're missing a few key members of our panel here. There's Dave Pauly, who's missing. He's got a house guest. He can't make it. Dawn is sick.
Well,
She's not
underway.
feeling well today. And Misty has been screaming her lungs out at who knows what this weekend. And she's the only one who's in the Netherlands and wouldn't be able to join us in person anyway. But Misty's a regular contributor to the podcast.
Yeah.
And the
Misty
two
would
of you
support this because
Oh, absolutely.
the manufacturer of the car the name doesn't start with an F. So
And I think that you and Misty actually would have many things to talk about in terms of appreciating 50s era ethics and aesthetics.
Oh.
Not
yeah.
ethics, that's different. Yeah, so that's the rest of the crew that's not here. But what I was thinking is that join Hope and take a look at the car in person, and maybe, like Tim said, scratch all our heads and see if we can't help fix the things that need fixing and get it back on the road.
That sounds like fun. The few short list items there do sound eminently doable. So,
Well, we were talking a minute ago. Tim asked the question, are replacement parts, is it difficult to find stuff? And I think Hope said, yeah, it's kind of hard to find stuff. Well, but
where there's a will, there's a way.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
Brake lines can be made, and when I was in high school, I knew a guy who had rusted floorboards in his Datsun, and he just cut up a stop sign and stuck it in there. But there are slicker things than that you can do, even if the actual original sheet metal is not available. There are ways,
Right.
That is true.
Ben, I did tell a similar story about a Datsun floor pan, ironically. So yeah.
But to Hope's point, I don't want to get in the car and ruin its overall purity, right? I don't want to stick a stop sign in her floorboards. I want to make sure it's as close to spec as possible. So let's do this. Hope, why don't we take this offline at some point and see about arranging a date? We'll see if we can herd the cats together and maybe meet at your place. And if it's okay with you, let's shoot some video.
I would absolutely love that. I would love that. That car, like I said, it means a lot to me. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to continue owning it. But if I could get it up and running and maybe find another owner that would, give it the TLC it needs, and because I think it's a beautiful car. It would be a beautiful fun family car to take on the weekends, take out for a ride. It's got plenty of room for the whole family, something like that. It's a lot for me now for, being by myself. And, when I had a husband that could help me work on it, it was convenient. But I don't have that anymore.
Now you've got 3.
Right.
Yeah. That's even better.
There's you need to look for that singles ad out there that says, competent mechanic looking for woman with who owns a classic vehicle. Please send pictures of classic vehicle.
That's a good idea. I kind of like this idea.
Not that a picture of you wouldn't help, but that's
right. Oh. So let's do a quick check-in with Ben since he joined in late. Ben, are you okay?
Well, yeah. Well, I guess in what regard is the real question. I mean, obviously my sense of time this morning is a little screwed up, but
you were stuck on Central Time, was it?
In the past week, I have been in all of the U.S. time zones.
Whoa! In 1 week?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
On Friday, the 27th, I flew from Atlanta up to Spokane, Washington, and I spent Friday and Saturday, all of the rest of Saturday, I think into Sunday a little bit in Washington, Sunday I wound up crossing Washington and Idaho and spent that night in Montana, Bozeman. Then Monday night I was in Rapid City, South Dakota. Tuesday night I was in, where was I Tuesday night? Nebraska, I was in Iowa, just right across the river from Omaha, and then the night after that, St. Louis, and then I got home. Or not even St. Louis. No, it was past St. Louis somewhere, Mount Vernon, Illinois. That's right. So yeah, I've spent a night in every time zone over the past week, more than one night in some of them. It was all a motorcycle trip, taking a bike back that I'd left in Washington back in June.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I rode it up there in June and then left it there. It's too hot and humid and all that in the summertime in Georgia to enjoy doing anything outdoors. So I figured, I'm not going to ride the bike in the summer much anyway, so I'm just going to leave it up there and then fly up in September and bring it back. And that's what I did. And it went pretty smoothly. The only glitch I had was when I was getting it out of storage, and it was stored in a friend's garage up there. But when I started it up, it didn't want to run right. It was running rough, and it kept trying to shoot up to red line, even though I wasn't touching the throttle. This is about a dozen-year-old, modern bike that's got fuel injection and all that, and got online quickly and consulted with some, fellow enthusiasts. They offered a few things to try, and one of them worked. It basically just needed one of the throttle bodies reset.
Okay.
One of these procedures where you like unplug the throttle actuators, turn the thing on, move the throttle back and forth a few times, plug them back in, rinse and repeat until something clicks and it suddenly works.
Wow. Okay. So basically you turned it off and turned it back on again?
Well, more than just that, unplugging things and moving parts and all
Yes,
that.
yes.
Sure. Yeah.
But
So
the really cool thing is I did the entire thing, and the whole big shebang, both up and the back, came to about 6,600 miles, and I did it all on one set of tires, which for motorcycles, that's pretty amazing. Their tires don't last near as long as car tires.
Wow. Yeah.
In fact, there's probably 1,000 miles or so left in the rear tire, and that just boggles my mind. I've never had one last so long before. But it's, they're supposed to have a rounded cross section to the tread. It's now like rounded with a big flat in the middle, just from thousands and thousands of interstate miles,
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so
but that's what I've been up to and why my brain is so scrambled. And I spent all day yesterday cleaning it. And
well, you look healthy and happy, and I'm glad you made it in time.
me too.
We're
Thanks. Yeah.
we're about to wrap Hope's segment with the questions, and we always ask our guests. Hope, are you ready?
I think so.
What's your dream car?
My dream car. I was just talking about this yesterday. So I guess I have a thing for big cars. An Impala, early 60s Impala would be my favorite if I could go out and pick one right now.
Nice.
I like that. The Impalas are a great old classic vehicle, and I would love to have one in my garage as well. That would be cool.
I just think they're just sleek looking,
Yeah.
snazzy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Styling was really spot on.
Styling, yeah.
Although if we go
and profiling.
right, we're no longer talking about classics, but if we go up to what was it, the late 90s, early 2000s, they put out an Impala with an SS package on it, which is regarded as one of the last true muscle cars made. So it had like an LS motor stock, and it wasn't a very big car, but at least not as big as the huge Impala, right? It was a big car, but
you could land airplanes on the back of a 63.
Exactly.
Heck yeah.
I knew a guy in high school that had one. That thing was huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like the wagons too.
Yeah.
The Impala wagons. Those were pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So second question, Hope, where's your next road trip going to be?
Oh.
Or would you like it to be?
That's a good question. I don't know. Y'all have any suggestions? Any good shows? Somewhere cool?
Oh, there's so many possibilities.
There are way too many possibilities. Although with the storms, I don't know. There's a couple locations in like Tennessee, the caverns. I don't know how they fared up there, but
well, coming through that part of Tennessee a few days ago, everything looked okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And actually, my wife and I were talking about where we wanted to spend a little winter vacation time, and I said, I'd like to get back up to Western North Carolina as soon as possible to spend some of our, tourist dollars up there.
Yes.
But wait till they're ready to accept them,
Right, yeah. Exactly. It's a question of how far into Western North Carolina we'll be able to get them.
Right. So I've always wanted to go to South by Southwest.
Oh.
That's always been a bucket list item. I don't actually keep a bucket list, Hope, but if I did, that would be on it.
That's the seed kernel of your bucket list. Right.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. Museums, I don't know. Hope is very much into the what's the overall term I'm looking for here, Hope? The aesthetic. It's not just 50s. There's a larger term for that, isn't there?
I guess would it be retro? I don't.
Yeah. Why not? Oh,
sure.
Yeah. Cool stuff. Yeah.
Ben belonged to a surf rock band for a while that
oh, really?
Did some really cool stuff. Yeah.
Which one?
We were called Gemini 13.
Okay.
It didn't last very long. Well, I mean, I won't get into the whole big, long, boring history of it, but when the episode comes out, the music we use coming in and out of this show is Gemini 13. It was fun.
And you live in Atlanta?
Yeah.
So did you ever do the surf festival in Avondale Estates? That's where I live.
Yeah. Southern Stomp Fest or something like
Mhm.
that. Yeah, I've been to that a few times. Gemini 13 played the after party for it once. We never played the main thing while I was in the band, but yeah, I knew Chad and all those guys, and really, really cool scene. And I was, if you really know your surf music history, I was friends with the Penetrators back when they were doing their thing.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
I still know that the two surviving members.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I
I
got
was in
to
this.
meet Big Dale. That was pretty cool.
I have too.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
I've met him and got the autographed CD and all that. And
Yeah.
yeah, he was something else. He was great.
Y'all are a pair of really hip cats.
Uh, you
I
know,
try. I try.
That's awesome. Um, all right, last question for you. This just seems like a gimme. We may add a fourth question here, but the last question is always something silly and stupid from this long list of silly and stupid questions I've got. And so, uh, if someone from the 1950s suddenly appeared in front of you, what would be the most difficult thing to explain to them about today?
Oh boy. I think the current environment of our politics would be a good starter
I was
Yeah,
thinking
point.
that too.
that's too easy. All right,
Yeah.
let's ask another question here. Hope, what kind of secret society would you like to start?
Or that you may already be a member of.
I
Or that
know,
you
right? I can't talk about it. It's
uh,
confidential.
it's confidential. We can't go into that. All right,
Mm.
that's very cool. Yeah, so
Teach me the secret handshake.
Right.
I've got
it's a
a
DeSoto
few.
club.
Or is it
Yeah.
more like a gang sign
Yeah.
of
I would start a secret society of DeSoto owners.
Mm.
I meant to ask
Exactly.
you that if you know if there's any like online DeSoto forums or anything that
There are several that I have found and that I joined because I had been trying to sell the car for quite some time and went on the forums but I didn't get a whole lot of bites. So
okay.
I'm not sure if there's a lot of people out there interested in a DeSoto Firesweep just because it is such it's kind of a rare
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. Yes.
car.
Yeah. It's
So
a
It's a
kind of a
very, very
unicorn.
niche market. Yeah.
mhm.
So, Hope, who was it? I can't remember who introduced us, but didn't they tell me that your car had been in a movie?
Yeah, so it's Patty. Patty introduced us.
That's who it was.
She's my
Yes.
neighbor, but actually it was a TV show. It was the
Uh,
Vampire Diaries. So they filmed down in Covington Square,
mhm.
down near Conyers, Georgia, and they dressed me up like a 1950s girl.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Poodle skirt, beehive, the whole shebang. It was actually a lot of fun, but so
Cool.
I got to drive around the Covington Square about 500 times from about 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. in my
Cool.
poodle skirt. And it was freezing cold. So I had like 3 blankets in the car and in between scenes. I was just trying to stay warm. So,
Wow. See,
Oh
that's
man.
the there. If you're trying to sell the car, that's probably the niche you need to go through. Is like former movie cars and TV cars. You know.
Right.
yeah, it was supposed to be in the movie Selma too. And I
Yeah.
unfortunately broke down on the way down to the set.
Oh no.
So I broke down at the Cracker Barrel in Conyers. So
Mm.
it didn't make the movie, unfortunately.
That is sad.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely get together on a date and take a look at the car and meet each other in person and just we'll have as much fun as we can with it. Let's see if we
Yeah.
can't help get it back on the road. I think that'll be a lot of fun too.
I would
So,
love that.
Hope, thank you very much for being our guest today. We will definitely be back to see you in person. Tim, let's do the trivia thing.
Okay. So Ben, you're gonna have to hit the ground running with this. So Porsche and its partners are successfully manufacturing an e-fuel in Chile. What is it? Is it a lithium paste that is electrically charged prior to injection into an electric vehicle's empty battery electrode module? Spent lithium paste is extracted and recharged. Or is it B, electricity from solar panels is used to help with the distillation and purification of ethanol? C, potassium nitrate crystals are ground into an ultrafine powder which explodes to generate power when compressed in a diesel-like engine. Or D, wind energy is used to separate hydrogen from water. The hydrogen is then combined with pulled from carbon dioxide, pulled from the air to create a synthetic gasoline. So we always start with our guest first. Hope, what is your best guess on this?
My best guess would be C.
Okay, potassium nitrate crystals.
I like the potassium
Nikki?
nitrate crystals.
Okay.
This is hard because there's a part of me that wants to believe a couple of them are true, but I think they're using solar power to refine ethanol.
Okay. And Ben?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that too because it sounds familiar. I read something about this. I may be mistaken, but I read something about it.
Okay.
Okay. It's actually D, wind energy used to separate hydrogen from water.
Oh, yeah.
And the hydrogen is then combined with carbon dioxide pulled from the air to create synthetic gasoline. And
I
then,
knew it was some kind of multi-stage renewable thing.
yeah. So,
Thank you,
good,
Tim.
good.
That was an excellent question.
Thank you.
Yes.
Not hard
excellent
at
question.
all.
No, not even.
Right.
I just want to see something explode in a diesel engine now. So,
Yeah.
Nice. Yes.
so again, Hope, thanks again. This is good stuff. I'll circle back and we'll coordinate dates.
Thank you.
And to the rest of our listening audience, thank you for joining us. If you've got ideas or friends or car stories you want to share, please give us a buzz. Otherwise, we welcome your participation, joining in on the conversation online. We post our stuff regularly on LinkedIn and Facebook and occasionally Instagram. I'm told I'm too old for Instagram, but I don't, whatever.
No, you're too old for Snapchat. Instagram's okay.
So cool. Thanks very much, everybody. Be safe out there. We'll see you with another episode in about a week. Bye, y'all.
See ya.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Thing About Cars. We'll see you on the road.